40 years ago, Jane and I hit the road to discover America's food highway. Over 100,000 meals later, we're still finding delicious food, adventure, natural beauty, and interesting people. Delicious oysters are not the only reason to travel from Appalachicola, Florida, through Pensacola to the Mobile Bay. They're magnificent, yes, but so is everything else about this magic route along the Gulf of Mexico. From the serenity of what's known as the Forgotten Coast to the buzz and bustle of Mobile, it's a delicious taste of the USA.
Everybody around here is really friendly. It's a very unique environment. We have the salt and freshwater environments here. I've been real fortunate to have grown up here and to be able to experience all the things I have. After you've worked on this water like for as long as I have, it's hard to turn away from, and I take a lot of pride in my work. Oh, this bay, just describe the bay in one word, hell paradise, I guess.
Yes, it's paradise, and not just because the oysters are so good.
Everybody we met here has been so friendly. We have people that just stop and you talk to them, you start telling them where you're from, and they start telling you places to go. And the lady at the visitor center down here told us to come here because this was her second generation oyster family, and they were, she said, this is it, this is the real thing.
You get fresh Appalachicola oysters. We have our own boat that are harvested, ice chilled right there, washed right over there, brought into the restaurant, and served right out here.
If you want to get good fresh Appalachicola oysters, this is a good place to come right here.
Highway 98 is bordered by tall trees on one side and Gulf Coast waters on the other. It's a beautiful place to drive, and road food treasures abound. In Port St. Joe, one of the best is the Indian Pass Raw Bar. It's a ramshackle roadside joint that began life back in 1929 as the commissary for a turpentine factory. Today, it's all about oysters. Freshly opened, bright and briny, served by the dozen on the half shell in the most informal way. Or you can have them baked and topped with Parmesan cheese, butter, and garlic. Yes, they're delicious, Florida at its most flavorful, but half the pleasure of oyster eating is sharing it with friends.
And that's the best. You go out and somebody loves it and they go up and tell their family, and it's more of the local flavor of like it used to be.
Staring out over the Indian Lagoon.
Port St. Joe isn't just a great place to eat. It is surrounded by natural majesty, the green of the forest, the clear blue waters of the Gulf. This is a place for boating, fishing, and savoring an unspoiled coastline.
This is emerald green water, sparkling crystal clear. Go offshore and see down 20 to 30 feet just from the boat. There's places right offshore that I can go to wrecks and we can see the fish swimming on it just in the boat.
Port St. Joe is proud of being off the beaten path. It's a quiet community, a great place to simply stroll along the beach or explore the old downtown, to enjoy the sun as well as magnificent sunsets in the western sky.
The biggest thing I can say when you come here on vacation, you don't need another vacation to get over your vacation.
An hour up the coast from Port St. Joe is Panama City Beach.
When I first started coming here cleaning windows, I'd be driving down a neighbourhood and people would be walking their dog and they'll wave and just like, what are you doing? Everybody is really friendly. The beaches here are stunning. They're literally some of the best in the world.
And the food? Well, get ready for a surprise. Because here you're going to eat a good old English pasty. That's pasty, not pasty.
A pasty is basically a meat pie. It's like a hand pie. They're also known as turnovers, and empanadas are very similar. The main dish is fish and chips. That's the hands down, there's fish and chips.
Heading west, Highway 98 leads to the Walton County community of Santa Rosa Beach. This is a good place to acknowledge that it is humanly possible to eat one's fill of oysters, and in fact, do something other than discover great restaurants. A vacation destination since early in the 20th century, Santa Rosa Beach is a little patch of heaven where nature's siren song is impossible to resist. Here you can lounge on beach sand as white as sugar. You can snorkel in the Gulf, or fish in some of the prettiest waters on Earth. Is it any wonder it's called the Emerald Coast? Great snack opportunities abound wherever you wander. Casual, informal, street food is everywhere. It is nothing but fun and brightens up any stroll around town, but for a most memorable meal, the edible highlight of a visit here, you want to check out the Great Southern Cafe. At once beachside casual and gastronomically sophisticated, the Great Southern Cafe is a handsomely rendered upscale version of a down-home past. New-fashioned Southern cuisine is how the menu describes it, meaning that you eat familiar favorites with a worldly twist. Key lime pie is essential. And oh, look at this crab martini. Does it get any fresher?
Grab your girl right off for a while.
For fans of vinyl records, Central Square Records is a visit to heaven. It's a true treasure trove of 45s and record albums. This is a genuine, independent record store with an inventory of music that ranges from vintage tunes to mainstream hits to recordings by favorite local artists. And after browsing, you can pay a visit to the Truman House, where the movie The Truman Show was filmed.
We ain't close to running out of beer. Yeah, we're all just hanging here.
Now let's head west and see what's going on in Pensacola. Fort Pickens National Park, part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, is an amazing piece of American history. It was built using over 21 million bricks during the pre-Civil War era to guard Pensacola Bay, which happens to be the deepest harbor on Florida's Gulf Coast. It remained a military installation till the late 1940s.
Beach people crawling from top to bottom.
We welcome everybody as we have since 1559. It's a very diverse city, as a lot of port cities are. Because people end up there and they end up staying and they like it, and that's what's happening in Pensacola. Plenty to do here in Pensacola. We have the world's widest beaches, as we said, but there's also great downtown Pensacola is alive and well. Besides just cultural tourism, we also have a great dining scene here. I was talking about Andrew Jackson coming here. There's a restaurant sits right there on that park called Jackson's. Andrew Jackson. If you look at its logo, it's Jackson's signature. It's friendly and it's inviting. You can be here all day long without ever having to spend a penny to get in anywhere, because a lot of the museums are free.
Do some exercise and build up a good appetite, because you want to come to Pensacola very hungry. The eating opportunities in Florida's westernmost city run the gamut, from burgers and barbecue to 4-star fine dining. Favorite destinations for locals as well as tourists include the side-by-side Fish House and Atlas restaurants and Jackson's Steakhouse. But let's zero in on Joey Patty's Deli, a casual eatery that feels like a great big diner. Crowded, chatty, and full of life, informal in the extreme, a high-spirited place that's fun for the family and easy on the wallet. Joey Patty's menu is huge, featuring fried fish of every kind, hearty gumbo, grilled fish, and of course, hush puppies. And next to the restaurant is Joe Patty's vast seafood store, crowded with cases of just about everything that swims and tastes good.
We know seafood here at Joe Patty's. When I sell seafood, I know damn well it's fresh.
From Pensacola, we're heading west into Alabama over the bay. The city of Mobile has a unique character that is at once modern and vintage, with a melting pot spirit that reflects 300 years of a city once known as the Paris of the South. Just about every weekend in Mobile hosts some sort of art show, cook-off, or festival. If you're looking for a more leisurely experience, you can stroll historic neighborhoods lined with giant live oak trees or paddle in one of the most significant river delta systems, just minutes from downtown.
Mardi Gras began in this country in the city of Mobile back in the 18th century, and it is Mobile's greatest living tradition. Every example of the art that is Carnival can be found in our museum. It's fun and engaging, and you learn something.
No visit to Mobile is complete without a feast at Winsel's Oyster House. It began as a 6-stool raw bar in 1938. Now it's grown to become a seafood lover's holy grail of the Deep South. What to eat? Oysters, of course, however you like them. And deep-fried crab claws, they're a Mobile specialty. Gumbo is a must. But what about Winsel's decor? Every available inch of wall space is occupied. much of it by silly aphorisms coined by founder Oliver Winslow. It is impossible not to have a good time in this place, where the walls talk to you with words of wisdom or not, everywhere you look. From the white sands of the Emerald Coast to the city buzz of Mobile, this is a road trip to remember.